Alla had always wished to marry successfully. She had already experienced an unsuccessful marriage and had a 20-year-old son named Artem. Long ago, her husband was caught in unprecedented infidelity, a day before Alla returned from a business trip. She caught him by surprise, half-naked, meticulously making the bed in their bedroom, while her best friend was in the kitchen making coffee in her negligee. Classic. The divorce was immediate. The treacherous friend was permanently cut off from all contacts. Alla didn't bother delving into the dirty details. There was guilt, there would be punishment. She kicked her husband out with his things, and forbade her son from communicating with him. At that time Alla was not even 30. More than 10 years had passed since then. Alla managed to defend her candidate dissertation first, then her doctoral dissertation, and at 40, she became a doctor of philological sciences. She held a chair at the pedagogical university, which she chaired. She was valued as a specialist. Throughout the 10 years of female solitude, Alla never lost hope of finding a worthy life partner. She believed it was still too early for her to knit socks and do cross-stitch. There were plenty of suitors for her hand and heart. But no one seemed to anchor to the shores of her soul. One suitor proposed to Alla immediately after their first date. He borrowed money from her. Almost became family, and that was that. The second candidate was looking for a mother for his children, a widower. He immediately invited her to his house. He asked Alla to cook a delicious dinner for his entire family. Alla wasn't prepared for such a warm reception, but she cooked dinner and fed the kids. There were 3 of them, all little ones. She returned home and cried. She felt sorry for those children, their father, who was like an orphan himself. But Alla couldn't bear the weight of that whole pack on her shoulders. Maybe I'm selfish, Alla justified herself. With each passing year, options dwindled. And just when Alla was on the brink of despair in her futile searches, and wanted to put a bold end to these barren stories, he appeared on the horizon. A student. Algerian. Wahid was 28 years old. He had once been in Alla's group, she was his teacher. After graduating from university, Wahid stayed in the city and opened a small business. When Alla stopped by the gas station to refuel her car, Wahid turned out to be the owner of that gas station. They talked, reminisced about university, laughed. Wahid gave Alla his business card. Just in case. And Alla started visiting Wahid once a week, also refueling her car. Wahid began to show signs of attention, inviting her to a restaurant for a symphony concert. Alla was embarrassed and didn't believe in the sincerity of her former student, refusing any invitations. But Wahid didn't give up. Alla remembered this student, he stood out markedly from the rest with his zeal for studies and diligence. Wahid was an indescribable Eastern handsome. All the girls of the faculty turned their heads when Wahid passed by and sighed longingly after him. Alla remembered when Wahid was still a student, he gave her a carved box as a gift. In that box lay a note. After reading it, Alla blushed, then paled. With anger, she tore Wahid's message into the tiniest pieces. He had written, "Teacher Alla, I love you." Alla immediately assumed it was some kind of mockery. She shoved the box into Wahid's hand and fled. The next day, Wahid knocked on Alla's office door. "Teacher Alla, forgive me, I didn't mean to offend you. I really like you." Alla accepted his apology. "All right, Wahid, go to the classroom, lessons are about to start." Throughout his studies, Wahid never approached Alla, only glanced at her furtively. And now the situation repeated itself. Alla was in turmoil. Should she accept his courtship or reject it? Now I'm nobody to him, we're just a man and a woman. Well, what the heck, Alla reasoned, and finally surrendered to fate. A fleeting romance began. The first date with Wahid was unforgettable. He managed to surprise Ala. He was tender, fun, romantic. Ala had never met such admirers. The age difference didn't bother her at all. Ala could be a playful girl, while Wahid was an adult man. Ala dubbed Wahid her way, as Vadim. He didn't object, but he also started calling Ala by his own name, Aliyah. Ala was on cloud nine with happiness. She felt desired as a woman for the first time. Love ignited, unquenchable. Wahid didn't propose to Ala. He planned to return to Algeria. And against the will of his family, he hesitated to go. His mother informed him that they had already found a suitable bride for Wahid. Her name is Khadija. She's 17. She's from a respectable family. Ala wouldn't dare to leave her homeland for the unknown. How could she leave her son, her mother? No, it's impossible. Wahid's family hardly accepted an older bride from a foreign land. In short, her own crust is better than others' pies. And so, Ala decided to give all her unspent tenderness and love to Wahid. And then let whatever happens, happen. How much of my feminine happiness do I have left? A little. I'll love this guy. It'll be hard for him to breathe. Yes, I'll drain him dry. Ala shared her revelations with her mother. Her mother was categorically against a foreigner. Ala, why do you need this unbeliever? Don't you have enough of our Vatic? I'll never give my motherly blessing to you. Your ex-husband is hanging around. Everyone's vying for you. Don't you notice? You should have forgiven him. Huh? And you'd live happily ever after. After all, you have a son. Her mother lamented. Mom, Dmitri cheated on me. Have you forgotten? Ala resisted. Oh my God, he's repented 100 times already. And it's your fault too. You abandoned your husband for your dissertations. Any woman would hunt him down without a second thought. And he won't be picky, her mother persisted. Why didn't you forgive my father then? He also repented, Ala parried. Well, daughter, you've hit the nail on the head. Firstly, your father left without waiting for your birth. Secondly, he had 3 little children on the side. Then he came back to see you. What do I need him with 3 tails for? And could I take away a father from 3 children? No. And your Dimka has been wandering around for 10 years. Waiting for you to call him. Artem loves him very much. My mother concluded her indictment. Oh, Mom, I'm not going to marry Wahid. I'm trying for him. I'll wait until he leaves me first. I can't do it myself. And then we'll see, Ala said thoughtfully. Oh, daughter, you're an old mare, but still tempting with a sweet, her mother sighed. 3 years later, Wahid bid farewell to Ala. I'll stay in touch with you, my beloved, he simply said. Ala was prepared for such an outcome. But still, it was unbearably bitter to give Wahid up for the young Khadija. As a farewell gift, Wahid gave Ala the same carved box with which it all began. This time, it contained an extraordinary ring in the shape of 2 angels. The angels held a diamond heart. My heart I leave with you, Ala, Wahid said, kissing her passionately. He flew back to Algeria. A year later, Wahid sent a wedding photo with the caption, My wife, Khadija. And another year later, a second photo from the wedding arrived with the caption, My second wife Mariam. Wahid explained to Ala that polygamy is legally permitted in Algeria. As Ala looked at these reports of Wahid's personal life, she didn't feel a hint of jealousy. What do you young chicks know about sweet love? She found some solace in the sad look of the groom. Perhaps he misses her. Maybe he still loves her. Although old love rusts when a new one blows. The fairy tale ended. The wanderer has moved on. During this time, Allah's son also got married and brought a bride into the house. When the young couple had a daughter, Allah asked them to name the girl Aliyah. She wanted to preserve the story of burning love in her memory forever. Allah forgave. Maybe she just pitied her ex-husband. Dmitri acted through his mother-in-law. And Allah's mother managed to persuade her to reconcile with her husband with weighty arguments. He had long realized his guilt. And who among us is without sin? Sin doesn't wander through the forest, it walks among people. Not every person can resist temptation and passions. Allah and Dmitri live as one family, trying not to part ways. And Allah also completed knitting courses. Now she knits socks with Arabic patterns for her granddaughter Aliyah.